Hey everyone. So before we get this video kicked off today, I want to go ahead and share some news with y'all and talk about the relevance of the topic today right after. All right, so there was about 500 people in the US who died today, 600 in Europe, about 1,000 in the Middle East, and an earthquake that happened in Hawaii that killed another 500 people, and 342 people were killed in Asia. This is all due to global warming. This is all due to government agencies working together in multiple countries to control human population. And it's time that we are aware of these things and we do something about it. All right, so like I said, I want to go ahead and take a minute to just address that. All right, so everything I just told y'all was all false. Shit I just made up in my head. Sorry, I try to watch my language, but stuff I just made up in my head. And the reason why I did that and I kept a serious face and said it, because oftentimes there are a lot of people who get on the internet and they make these videos like they know what they're talking about. They spew off a lot of bull crap to you as if it's factual. They don't do their research. They correlate and tie things together that don't go together. And that leads me to my topic of today, which is the psychological warfare that is happening on humanity, and the psychological warfare that is happening on society overall, that is an information warfare. We are in the age of information, the technology age, where everything is instant at your hands. This video, as soon as I finish making it, because I don't do edits, I'm going to post it and it'll be right there at your hands, right? Now, there will be someone who will only watch the first minute of this video and will take false information and run with it. And the danger of that, and I'm going to make sure I put a caveat in my description for that reason, because the danger of that is oftentimes people do that. We don't go and do our research. We don't go and try to find out what's really going on. We just take what we hear and we run with it. So what drew this in, and I did tell a friend that he inspired me today to write something different. So I had the same incident with a cousin over a Trump spiel or lie about Biden's tax policy coming after people raising taxes. Had she just taken a moment to go look at the tax policy, she would have learned that it was affecting people who made over $400,000. Not you and me. I don't make $400,000. I'm just being real with y'all. Now, what Trump has currently in place that hasn't been repealed or replaced as of yet that I know of, and I could be wrong because Biden's tax plan may have already been activated. I don't think it is, but those tax problems did affect me, that middle class, and the higher middle class and so forth. It did affect us, but this right here don't affect us, y'all. It affects people who can actually afford to pay the percentage, okay? So I want to get back into the misinformation campaign, not really about the Biden tax plan or anything like that, just about misinformation. So one of my buddies, he posted a post, and great guy, nothing against him. Let me be clear on that. He and I actually talked about it all, and I explained some things out about it, but he posted a post and shared it that was talking about Biden, the gas prices. You know how people do every time election time come around. We'll get into details. But Biden gas prices being at like $2.15, $2.20, $2.30 here, like $2.50 in DC area, and more. But gas being more expensive. But the in Trump's era, the gas being $1.50, $2, whatever. Let me go ahead and point out some factors into that, y'all. One factor I'm gonna point out first is there's been a pandemic going on, right? So there were many people consuming gas as far as driving is concerned. You know, petroleum is different from the oil you're using in your home. So anyway, or gas you're using in your home. So anyway, so all of this was going on and the gas prices were dropping because of the pandemic. Also, whenever Republicans get in office, just pay attention to trends, y'all. When Republicans get in office, the gas prices tend to drop. When Democrats get in office, the gas prices tend to rise. Why is that? Because there are millionaires who own these gas companies who are in cahoots with so many of the politicians. If you ever get a chance to come to DC area, look up, and just not even in DC area, look up jobs around lobbying. I guarantee you'll find some out there. And lobbyists exist for a reason. They get paid to go slide checks to government officials at unofficial parties. I know because I know somebody who used to do it. They get paid to go and advocate for whatever the person who's paying them wants them to advocate for, right? So with that said, oftentimes you got people who do it for tobacco, people who do it for marijuana, people who do it for sentencing, people who do it for taxes. You got all these different lobbyists that go out there and fight the cause for whoever paying their bill for them to fight it. They're typically lawyers, or at least trained lawyers who go out and do it, right? So with all of that said, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all that everything you hear on TV, all these posts that are made, are not always true, y'all. So I just ask that you all go and do your research. Go read, go learn about these topics that you're posting about. Make sure that it's true. So back to the oil thing with Biden versus Trump. Why is the oil cheaper during Republicans' time versus Democrat time? Who owns the oil companies? Let's answer that first. Foreign entities and local rich entities, right? People who are in the top 1% of our economy owns these industries. So if you're coming in to office and you're talking about lowering taxes for me, then I can, dangle a little shiny carrot out there for the people. Make them feel like you're doing a great job. Let them speak well of you. Because you're going to do something for me in return, right? By lowering these taxes, so I ain't got to lose as much money. My wealth then goes up. So I can afford to charge you what I should be charging you anyway for these oils and stuff that I'm probably going into other people's lands and stealing anyhow. So when you see these changes coming about, know that it's not because, Trump did such a great job that the gas prices are cheaper. No, Trump is in cahoots. I don't know if anybody else remembers this past summer or last year. I'm horrible with time frames, y'all, but my memory is a beast with details. But y'all remember when the Saudi government came to the U.S., right? Y'all remember where they stayed, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe they stayed at one of the Trump hotels. And that was a big deal. And we missed it in the news. And why did we miss it? Because George Floyd was killed. Ahmaud Arbery was killed. All these other young black innocent people were killed. We were out instead marching for justice and peace, while in the background they were changing housing laws. They were changing education laws, having the kids go back to saying the Pledge of Allegiance every day in school. And I didn't even realize this was going on either, y'all, until I took my son out of private school and put him in public school due to the pandemic, and I wasn't willing to pay for private school anymore. And they weren't up to where he needed to be anyway, but that's a whole nother story. So we put him in public school, y'all. And my son was just like sitting there bored out of his mind because they weren't teaching him anything. They were getting to know each other. And these kids there, he was in the 2nd grade at the time, and they were doing kindergarten work and saying the Pledge of Allegiance every day and having a school announcement and so forth. Now, I don't have anything against the Pledge of Allegiance, but it does have a religious base piece in there that we're not religious, and there are a lot of people who don't believe the same way. So that kind of, it's something weird, but that's not even what I'm here trying to talk about right now, y'all. What I'm really focused in on is what they were able to change in the school system. They took away a lot out of the education system. Betsy DeVos, whatever her name is, did absolutely nothing for the education system but siphon money out of it. A lot of schools did not have the proper funding, etc. Never do, but even worse. So anyway, y'all, so let me wash my face off, y'all. So getting to that, they dangle a couple of carrots over our heads. They kill us, do whatever they need to do to make the blindfolds go up. We become so heavily interested in all the other things that are going on that we lose sight and we lose track of the other things that matter as well, right? Because we're too busy out fighting the justice thing. And I'm not saying that's wrong, because we do need to do that, and everybody should be treated equally. But what I'm saying is, we're not in an age and a stage where we can just focus in on what's going on with one individual or one person. We have to be able to focus in on everything and everybody, right? We have to look at the big picture, and we have to be able to say, okay, let me go do some research and make sure what I'm reading is true. Because there are so many things out there, y'all, so many conversations of people making assumptions without doing research. And I would tell you all, like, there are some sources that are just legitimate sources who are usually on their stuff. And when you get a consistency of it, you tend not to check them as much. Sometimes, though, it's okay to go back and still double check them too. So I'm big on that. Like, let's make sure that we are doing what we need to do to make sure our information that we put out there is right. Because when we don't do that, what happens is we have these false information campaigns going around. And imagine, you reshare something, somebody else reshared. Next thing you know, there's like 500, 1,000, 3,000. Some of these posts have like 1 million shares on them, right? So there's 1 million shares out there. That means 1 million people saw that post, 1 million people reshared it, and then they have at least, let's just say, most people on Facebook have at least 500 people in their thing, right? So you do the math. Think about how quick a misinformation campaign can get around. So when you're out sharing something, remember to be an advocate for fixing the misinformation campaigns. Remember to double check your information. Make sure that it's legit. Make sure that you sharing something that really has been vetted, it's from a legit source. Check their sources. If it's somebody like me that's standing here talking to you, go and verify their sources. We have everything at the tips of our fingers. We have Google, we have Bing, we have YouTube. We have so many avenues to use to go and check the validity of somebody's information. And just because you hear 5 or 6 people saying the same thing does not mean that it's true. Because oftentimes they could be following each other. You just never know. So it's important that when you are going about sharing information, that you do your homework and go and look for legitimate sources. Go look for good journalism. Check the sources of the journalists, because oftentimes they'll put their sources in there. They have to, right? So go read all the way through the article, the entire thing in detail. Pay attention to what's being said. Because sometimes things don't always stand right out. Pay attention to what's being said and check their sources. That's all I wanted to share, y'all. Like, we're living in a different time right now for technology. I know, because I'm in the technology field. And the time that we're living in, everything is instant gratification. Why aren't relationships working out? Instant gratification. Why aren't children being taken care of by their parents well? On the phone. Instant gratification. All of these various things that are going on. And, it's funny because I actually had some time with my son, and I'm guilty of it just as much as everybody else. So don't take me as like I'm perfect, because I'm not. But I had some time with my son last night to watch a little kids movie. If y'all haven't seen it, Upside Down Magic is really good. But we were watching that, and my partner was texting me at the same time. And I had to tell my partner, I'm spending time with my son. I'm not going to be here on the phone, because I want him to know that I value him, that I love him, I care for him. So during this age of technology, remember to take a break from it. I want to add that in. I know it's off topic, but remember to take a break from technology. And then on top of that, not only take a break from technology, but remember that when you do choose to push post, send, share, remember to check the sources of the information before you do so. All right, y'all, that's all I have for you all today. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, if you do not have notifications on, because I do post, y'all, you just miss them probably if you don't have the notifications on. So please subscribe, get the notifications, stay informed, because that's what I'm here to do, y'all. That's my journey in life, and my goal outside of my career and so forth is to impact others positively by sharing positive information, sharing life hacks, sharing things that will matter to make your life easier, make your life better. And for us to have a very diverse world where we are inclined, educated, and fulfilled. All right, take care. Love you all. Remember to be a positive impact on the world. Be positive energy in somebody else's life and continue to put positive energy into the world. Love y'all.